I'm Rocco Stano, and welcome to Story Makers in the Kitchen. And with me today, I have Jessie Janowitz. Welcome, Jessie.
Hi, Rocco. I'm happy to be here.
And you're the author of the book, The Doughnut King.
So, The Doughnut King is the second book in the Doughnut Fix series. It's about a kid named Levin, who's a big foodie and a big baker, and he owns his own donut business.
So we're making donuts.
We're not making donuts, Rocco. Don't get too excited. So in the first book, he learns to make donuts and he creates his own recipe. We're going to be making a recipe that Tris creates in the second book. And in The Doughnut King, he has to go on a competitive cooking show called Can You Cut It?
Just like this. Well, we're not too competitive here.
No, we're not competitive. This is scary competitive.
Oh, really?
Fierce, tough, competitive. So on this cooking show, Tris has to create his own recipes, and they have to be really good. And he bases one of his recipes on a recipe his youngest sister, Zoe, has asked him to make. She really wants a fill your own cupcake. Where you get the cupcake and you get to fill it with cream yourself.
Are we going to be doing that?
We're going to be doing that.
Well, that sounds like fun.
It is fun. The most fun, I think, is filling it with the cream and getting to eat it, of course.
Getting to eat it. Yes, I'm looking forward to that also. So the title of the recipe is?
Peekaboo Mocha Cream Cupcakes.
Peekaboo Mocha Cream Cupcakes.
It's a bit of a mouthful.
Yes,
I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. Yes. So what is Mocha Cream?
So mocha is a combination of chocolate and coffee flavor. We're not going to be using caffeinated coffee. We're going to be using decaf, but you get the same really intense flavor that mixes with the chocolate in this very magical way. And the cream is buttercream frosting, basically. So it's got butter, it's got confectioner sugar, and then it has heavy cream and that mocha flavor.
Well, let's get to it.
Okay, so this recipe makes 12 cupcakes, approximately. If you fill it a little less, you can maybe get 14 out of it. The ingredients are flour.
How much?
1.5 cups of flour. Then we need 1 teaspoon of baking powder, half a teaspoon of salt, 3 eggs. We're going to use 1 stick of butter melted, 1 cup of sugar, and 1 tablespoon of vanilla. Lastly, we're going to use our secret ingredient, which is 3/4 cup of buttermilk.
Buttermilk? What's buttermilk?
Buttermilk traditionally was the liquid that was left over when butter was churned. Today it's really just cultured milk, the way we culture dairy for yogurt. Same kind of idea. Do you have any?
I think so. Do we really need it?
Yeah, we do.
Well, let me go check.
Okay.
I found it.
Grow up, Rocco. Let's get cooking.
Okay, flour first.
So we're gonna need 1.5 cups of flour, thank you.
Yes. Well, King Arthur certainly seals their bags very well. Here you go.
All right. So this is a 1/2 cup measure, which means, Rocco, how's your math?
We need 3 of those.
Exactly.
Right, so
all
that's
right.
1.
That's 1. Sometimes I lose count and I have to start all over again.
No.
So you'll be my counter.
Yes. There we go. 2.
2, and I like to level it off with my finger.
3.
Now, here's something that I learned that makes cooking a lot easier. Some recipes say you have to sift things like flour and baking powder before you use them. But I actually learned, a friend who's a professional baker told me, that as a substitute for sifting them, you can just whisk them together and it breaks up the clumps.
And that's what we're going to do. And again, how much baking powder?
We need 1 teaspoon of baking powder.
Well, I think we have that right here.
Great. All right, so 1 teaspoon of the baking powder. What's next, Rocco? You remember?
Yes.
This is a test.
A test. Okay. Oh, the salt.
Exactly. A 1/2 teaspoon of salt.
How are we going to do this?
We're going to make a bit of a mess, but that's okay. Baking is messy.
How's that?
That's good. I'm gonna level it off and make a little bit more of a mess. All right, now Rocco, will you be my whisker? Exactly, whisk those together.
And I have the whisk.
There you go.
Here we go. How am I doing?
Pretty good. The idea is just to break up those clumps.
Oh.
Excellent work. All right, how are you at cracking eggs, Rocco?
Oh, okay, we'll see. Now, cracking, and nice brown ones too.
These are beautiful eggs.
Yes. Egg number 1.
Excellent work. Now, my character Tris moves from the city to the country, and one thing he learns about eggs, see, and actually you can see how this egg has a nice almost orangey yolk? That means that these chickens are free range.
Oh, okay.
Because when chickens are free range and they eat outside, they're eating plants that have chlorophyll in them, and that's what gives your eggs this nice kind of orangey, the yolks this nice orangey color. So these are really good eggs.
Besides writing the book, you actually created this recipe, and did you have to do a lot of research?
I do. I end up, because I have a character who's a creator, I have to create his creations for him, and that means a lot of experimenting. There's actually a recipe in the book for a 1-ingredient chocolate mousse, which is almost more like a chemistry experiment. And I experimented with different kinds of cupcakes and mixed together recipes until I found one that worked for me.
Right. And you know what we're going to do? We're going to just rinse our hands because we just cracked some eggs. We'll be right back while we wash our hands. And while we were washing our hands, we also melted in the microwave 1 stick of unsalted butter, but we still have to do something with the eggs.
Yes, we're just gonna lightly beat these eggs. We just really want to begin to combine the yolks.
There's one.
There's a very stubborn yolk. Okay, so that's all we needed. They don't have to be beaten like scrambled eggs, just a little mixed up.
Okay, so what's next?
Now we're gonna mix the butter and the sugar.
And for that we need our mixer. Okay, and we have our super duper KitchenAid mixer. I'm getting this mixing bowl and I'm going to put it right there. And
I'm gonna put the butter in first.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna pour that in there.
Okay, you can hand that and I'll get rid of that.
And then I'm gonna dump in our sugar like that. And then we're gonna put it in the mixer and mix it together until it's thick.
Okay, now we need to take the Super Bowl and lock it in place.
That looks pretty good to me.
Yes. And I put this down.
Right.
Like that. And then I need to put the lock switch on. The motor control is right here.
Exactly. Now you want to start it on 2 because otherwise the sugar will go flying. And as it gets kind of combined, you can put it up to 4.
Well, that looks like it's good. So do I...
So now you're going to dump in the egg.
Dump in the egg.
Good job.
Yes.
And now you're going to combine that the same way you combined the sugar and the butter.
Do I start on 2 again?
I always start slow because you never know. But I'm a cautious person.
Well, it's always good to be cautious. Well, let's put it on.
To 4 now.
Oh, there we go. Look at it go. It is swirling all around.
And now you're gonna do the same thing with this. You're gonna turn it off after a while and make sure that the sugar and butter mixture is really mixing in with the egg mixture.
This is a great machine, KitchenAid. So I am going to turn this back off, lift it up like that. I'm going to go like this. It looks good to me. Now we have to do one more thing, don't we?
We're gonna add a tablespoon of vanilla.
Tablespoon of vanilla. Let me, because I'm close, I will. That is a tablespoon. That's a lot of vanilla. And this is like expensive.
Trust me,
yes.
It's worth it.
Okay, if you say so.
Now, Rocco, you're making a rookie mistake. It's okay, dump it in, but I'll explain. You never want to measure over your mixing bowl just in case,
okay,
right?
Well, thanks for that.
For future reference.
Okay.
especially for kids at home. I have made, I've destroyed lots of batches of food by
Yes.
measuring things like salt over my mixing bowl.
Yes, now I put the mixer back down.
Exactly.
I lock it in place. Start it at 2. And that dark brown vanilla is disappearing.
Because it's all mixing together.
It's mixing together.
All right, you can push it up a little bit more, and then we're
to
gonna.
4. Yes.
Now, the next step is we're going to alternate in batches, adding the dry ingredients and our buttermilk.
Oh, the buttermilk.
So we need to measure out 3/4 cup of buttermilk. So if you pour, I can tell you.
You tell me when to stop. I see 2/3.
All right, we're almost there. Keep going. And stop.
Okay.
All right, now you're going to alternate in thirds.
Okay, so
you're gonna, and it doesn't have to be exact, but basically,
should I lift
you're gonna
this?
lift up the mixer.
Okay, lift up the mixer, and I'm
You're
going
gonna
to
first.
put.
I would put in the dry, so you're gonna put in about 1/3 of that. You can use the whisk. A third. You're gonna put in 1/3 of the flour, about 1/3 of the buttermilk. Then you're gonna combine it together. Then the next third, and then the last third. And you're gonna mix in between every addition.
Okay, Jessie, I know 1/3 of my buttermilk is going to be 1/4 cup.
Exactly.
What's 1/3 of this? Or do I just do it by my eye?
You can just do it by your eye if you
okay.
figure it. But it doesn't have to be exact.
I gotcha. Okay.
All right.
So, because this is the easier one, I'm going to do
Okay.
that first. And through the magic of television, we're going to mix all of this, and we'll be right back. And we're back with it all mixed. I have my Super Bowl that I put right there. And now it's time to
Make the cupcakes. So
make the cupcakes. Well, we've been making the cupcakes, but we're
get
going
even
to
closer to the finished
Yes.
cupcakes. So these are cupcake liners. You can get them at your supermarket or at a baking store. It's so that your cupcakes come out easily and don't get stuck in the cupcake tray.
And we should also mention, while we're doing this, the oven is being preheated to what temperature?
350 degrees.
350 degrees.
I like to use the 1/3 cup to fill the cupcake tray because I feel like that gives exactly what you need because you're not going to fill the cupcake holders all the way to the top. You fill it 2/3 of the way because what happens when something bakes, Rocco?
It rises.
Exactly. And if you put too much in there, you're basically going to end up with one huge gooey cupcake. We're filling the cupcake tray.
Yes.
And it will be messy. There will be drips. You want about 2/3, each one about 2/3 full.
We didn't make too much of a mess. Now it's time for the oven.
All right, let's go.
Here we are 20 minutes later, and Jessie, we have baked cupcakes.
They came out perfect.
Yes.
Smell.
Mmm.
Right?
Terrific.
So these are hot because they just came out of the oven. And we want to wait for them to cool because you know what happens if you try to ice hot cupcakes?
It gets a little gooey.
It gets really gooey. We're not going to be happy. So I like to let these cool for a couple of minutes inside the pan. Do you know how to check if they're done?
You use a toothpick, right?
Exactly. If the toothpick comes out clean, then they're done.
Okay.
So you should start checking at 15 minutes.
Okay.
So these are done. We're gonna let them cool for a few minutes in here. Then we're gonna take them out and put them on a cooling rack or a plate so that they get really cool. And in the meantime, we're gonna make the mocha cream for the mocha cream that's gonna go in our peekaboo mocha cream cupcake. So it's actually gonna go inside, and I'm gonna show you how to fill the cupcake.
Can't wait for that.
It's fun.
Tell us about the ingredients. So we have
2 sticks of unsalted butter, and they were softened, which means we left them outside the refrigerator while we were making our cupcakes.
Right.
And next we have 3.5 cups of powdered sugar, which is also known as confectioner sugar.
Right, yes. And it's not flour. It looks a little like flour, but it's sugar.
Now, one thing I will say about the powdered sugar, we talked before about instead of sifting, we can use our whisk. You can use the whisk to break up the clumps in the powdered sugar, but you will, if you want a really smooth, professional looking buttercream frosting, it is better to sift the powdered sugar.
What's sifted?
So you basically have a strainer, which is a plastic hoop with a mesh bowl, and you pour the sugar through and you shake it so that all the clumps are left in the mesh and can be broken up and pushed through.
Okay. Sounds like when the people were mining for gold, they would shake all that stuff.
Exactly.
Yes.
And what I really like when you're sifting powdered sugar is it almost looks like it's snowing because it sprinkles down in a very nice way. And now we have a 1/4 cup of heavy cream.
Oh, it doesn't feel that heavy, but if you say so.
Here we made some coffee, and we could use a 1/4 cup of this, or we could use 2 tablespoons of the powdered espresso, which is meant for baking.
Okay. And
2 tablespoons of cocoa powder.
Yes. So
And lastly, Triss's secret ingredient, nutmeg. Do you want to smell it? It has a kind of particular smell. So this is Triss's special secret addition to mocha. This isn't something I think you see in most mocha recipes. And we just put in a pinch because you've got, I mean, it's just a pinch, right? Because you smelled it. If you put a lot in there, it would be overwhelming, right? It would be too much. It would be almost spicy. So he just puts in a pinch.
Well, let's get to it. So
you're gonna start with the butter, dump it in the mixer. Now what I wanna say about the mixer is we've been using the mixer to make our cupcakes, and we're gonna use it to make our frosting as well. But you absolutely do not need a mixer to make cupcakes. You can just mix with a fork and a spoon, and you know, your arm may get tired, but you can do it with friends, you can do it with family, and people can take turns mixing. Or you can use something like this. I actually had one of these when I was little, and I loved using it. And it's just a hand mixer, and it's really fun.
Right.
And you can take turns, and you're gonna get big muscles from doing it, but I love these. I love old kitchen tools, they're really cool.
Great, now I lock the mixer and I start on 2.
Exactly. Now to cream the butter, eventually you're gonna wanna go fast. You're gonna need to get that up to...
Faster than 4?
No, 4 is good. Or let's...
It's creamy.
You're gonna wanna go a little bit faster. Let's move it, yeah. You're gonna want it to be whipped. You're gonna wanna start seeing peaks.
Peaks.
Right?
Yes.
Almost like, are you seeing peaks?
I'm seeing peaks.
All right, so now you're gonna turn it off. All right, Rocco, good job. You creamed the butter. Mission accomplished.
Yes, and our next thing is?
Powdered sugar. You're gonna add it in batches. I would say let's do thirds again, okay?
Okay.
Oh, it doesn't have to be exact. I would just dump out a bit.
Oh, just dump out a bit.
Yeah,
It's just little...
dump out a bit, then cream it in with your butter. What the powdered sugar does is it thickens the cream, makes it into the frosting. And while you're doing that, I am going to get going.
Oh, look at that.
Rocco, what did I say? You have to start slow.
Okay, well, it was like a little winter snowstorm there, wasn't it?
All right, so now we need a 1/4 cup of the heavy cream. So the best way to see if you have the right amount is to bend down so that your eye is level with the line that's marking the measurement on your cup. And yep, I can see we have a 1/4 cup. So we can now add our cocoa. Yum. This is unsweetened cocoa, so it's got a super intense, rich cocoa flavor. You're gonna see when we put in the 2 tablespoons of cocoa, the cocoa is just gonna sit on top of the cream. It doesn't automatically mix up, but don't worry, we're gonna whip it all together in a second. And now I'm gonna take 2 tablespoons of my powdered espresso, 1 and 2, and add that. Or you could have poured in your liquid coffee. And what was our surprise ingredients, Rocco?
Nutmeg.
Nutmeg. So I'm
Just
gonna,
a pinch.
A pinch. Hey, Rocco, would you pass me that whisk, please?
Here you go. Whisk away.
Great, thank you. So see, the powder is just sitting on top of your cream. We've got to beat it so that it all mixes together, and that takes a little bit of doing. All right, now I'm mixing. You are going to add the secret sauce.
The special sauce. I want to get it all in, every last bit of the chocolate and the mocha. Okay. And
all right, now mix that up just like you mixed it before.
Okay, I'll start.
Now you want that color to be nice and uniform, right?
Yes.
But that's looking really good.
I think we're almost ready for the stuffing part.
This is the best part.
I will trade you this frosting. I'll give you the frosting right there, and you give me those cupcakes.
All right, this is already cool.
Yes, they feel nice and cool. I will get the cupcakes ready for filling.
Excellent. So I'm going to introduce you to my friend, the pastry bag.
Oh, the pastry bag.
The pastry bag comes with all different kinds of tips. Can you see this tip?
I see that tip.
I call this the sunburst. And it's gonna make really neat kind of squiggles on our cupcake with our mocha cream frosting.
I can't wait. Thank you, Tris. Now, Tris is a kind of a foodie kid, isn't he?
He is a foodie, and it's part of the reason why he loves New York City, because there are so many cool places for him and his family to go eat. His mom is actually a chef. That's how he ended up being a foodie. And they go to Chinatown, they go all over New York City experiencing all of the amazing food here, like the amazing food that people can experience in other places. But his favorite place, his happy place, is a place called Barney Greengrass.
Barney Greengrass.
Which is a deli around the corner from his apartment when he lives in New York City before he moves to upstate New York, which is where he starts his donut business. And he and his family have breakfast there every Saturday morning. And Barney Greengrass is one of his favorite places. And I grew up going to Barney Greengrass when I was little. And it's been really great because people who are reading the book are hearing about this place, and kids can do internet research and are looking up all these different places that I mention in my book, and they're even reading books that I mention in my book. I loved a book called The Wolves of Willoughby Chase when I was little, and I found out that kids who are reading The Donut Fix, which is the first book, are then moving on to The Wolves of Willoughby Chase, which is kind of cool.
But I want to taste Tris's
Let's get going. So
cupcakes.
I'm gonna need, now this can be a little bit frustrating filling these pastry bags, but I find it makes it a lot easier if I put the pastry bag over a cup because it holds it open. You're gonna get messy, so just be prepared. Okay, so doesn't have to be filled up all the way. It's pretty good.
It is.
If I do say so myself. Now, see, it's not quite all the way down yet. So you're gonna twist the top, and then you're gonna squeeze, you know, like you do with a tube of toothpaste, right? It's the same idea. Maybe just so you can see, I'm gonna squeeze out a little bit onto the counter.
I think it's so good that I need to taste it.
All right, so now we are going to get to the fun part of the fill your own cupcakes. So what you're gonna do, Rocco, I'll do one and then you can do one, okay? So you're gonna stick that tip into the cupcake.
Yes.
Got it? And you're gonna squeeze and tell me when you see the cupcake begin to inflate a little bit. Do you see it?
I see. I see.
So when the top starts cracking a little bit, you know that you've filled it to capacity.
And now it's time to top it off.
Top it off, and you want to cover the hole.
I cannot wait.
And you start with the hole, and then you go around and around and cover your whole cupcake.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I certainly
Can you handle this, Rocco?
We will see.
All right, let's go.
Yes, so now I take this.
Yes, you want to hold the back tight because otherwise it's going to squeeze out the other end.
Right, we see
Now
that.
stick it in there. I'm going to move this cupcake so you've got room.
Okay. Oh, I see.
Is it exhaling? Is it cracking?
You tell me.
You gotta squeeze hard, Rocco. I don't see it cracking yet.
Oh, it has to crack the top.
Yeah, because that's when you know it's filled to capacity.
Here we go.
Oh, there it goes. I saw it take a breath.
Okay, now I go like this.
Oh, you're squeezing out the other end, Rocco.
Oh.
There we go. Let's cover up that hole first.
Yes.
Because the thing is, for people who don't know, that
it'll be a surprise when they bite into it.
That was really good, Rocco. You ready for the best part?
Yes, I certainly am. Cheers! The best part. I've been waiting for this for the whole segment. Delish.
And you can see, there's your peekaboo cream.
Jessie, thanks so much for coming and teaching me how to make peekaboo cupcakes. And the Donut King, you have to read the book to find out if he wins the contest.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. I'm not telling.
Yes. And don't forget, until next time, read a book in any format